now I'm hear from that organization that it's a security, everything's a security, but Bitcoin doesn't pass the Howey test, and you better look out. And I hear comments like, "No honest man should fear the SEC," and I don't know, it just doesn't seem very helpful. Look, I'll just straight up ask you: is this an old way of looking at new instruments? Do we need to completely revamp? Because saying it doesn't pass the Howey test seems like the completely wrong question to be asking about this asset. Who cares? It's a completely different instrument. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, as a former regulator, right, I'm evidence that regulatory administrations and their point of view come and they go. Nothing lasts forever, right? So I'm not sure that the current state of the SEC that many people complain about is the permanent state. I think things will change. Doug Adams, who's the author of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series of books, one of my favorite authors, has a great quote, and I'll paraphrase it because I never get it right. But he says that, look, anything that was invented before you turn 35 is way cool and is something that you want to devote time to and maybe make it a lifelong career. But anything that comes about after you're 35 is suspect, dangerous, and needs to be suppressed. With crypto, that generational divide is as great as it ever was. In fact, I'm old enough to remember something we called the generation gap in the 1960s. And it was over things like civil rights and the war of Vietnam. There was this gap between young people and their parents. I think that gap is as alive today, but it has to do with really the future, a networked future. Young people understand networks, digital networks. And yet older people don't understand why we need to change. For them, there's nothing wrong with branch banking. There's nothing wrong with paper checks and 3-day settlement cycles. And that generation will yield to a younger generation. So part of what we have here, and I don't want to accuse any particular people of this, but we do have a generation gap. The people, we have a particularly septuagenarian of leadership in our financial markets, in our central banks. And I think to them, in many cases, what was wrong with the old world? And they will be replaced in time, whether it's this year or next year or 3 years from now. The technology will march forward, and eventually a new leadership will emerge into those positions of power that intuitively understand digital networks. And they'll bring with them an openness and a sensitivity. So the current generation, that if it's for comfort levels or technology, I don't want to say hysteria, but technology dissonance, will yield to a generation that intuitively understands this, and it will happen. And whether the resistance currently is at market regulators or central bankers. I mean, I've spoken to people across the spectrum, across the globe, at market regulators, prudential regulators, central banks, and there's a mixture of real hesitancy because they just don't get it, and they like the world that existed before. And there's people that get it and want to march forward. Eventually, the people that get it will simply generationally emerge in the majorities at these institutions, and the change will happen. But it will take time.
I think Peter Thiel called it the geriocracy, I think is what he called it. And maybe that does have to die out. In the meantime, though, as United States of America, and even though I am a citizen of this country and America, I still consider myself quite American. It's a little embarrassing that the country that should be leading the charge in this, matter of fact, some people say it's the only technology in the last 50 years that America hasn't dominated, and it's probably true. And then even today in 2023, I still don't know if I'm able to start a new crypto company in America, and I probably wouldn't. I'd probably go move somewhere else. So that's a shame.
Let me just leaven that a little bit.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, and as an American, I feel the same way. I feel that this is not the 1980s and 1990s when we led the charge in developing the internet to begin with. We led the first wave of the internet. The second wave, the Internet of Things, we yielded to others in terms of development of 5G technology. But this third wave, the Internet of Value, I think it's still a closely run thing where the US will be. And why do I say that? Because stablecoin development has still been largely US dominated. A lot of crypto infrastructure has some strong US players involved in it. And I would say from the regulatory state, putting aside what other regulators have done, it's been 5 years now that the CFTC led the world in creating the first regulated marketplace for any type of crypto, and that was in crypto futures. I know a small part of the marketplace, but Bitcoin futures and Ethereum futures are working well under sound regulation, transparently, liquidly, and are serving a lot of risk hedging needs in the marketplace. So the United States has not been absent, but I do agree with you. It's a close run thing whether the United States will bring the same degree of dominance. And you know what? Maybe a more global approach might be a good thing. You know, where you see the most adoption of crypto is where societies are young. In young countries, Africa would have a high birth rate, a lot of average population under 30. You see a high adoption rate. And in mature societies, this geriocracy that we have in, unfortunately, many Western countries, we see a lot of resistance. And I think part of that resistance is that generational divide that I talked about earlier. But that generation will yield to a younger generation that will intuitively get it.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline. I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?